Stratfor Intelligence's view on things is somewhat different to Euronews'. Summary: since the Libyan National Transitional Council forces entered the capital city, the council's two top officials have issued statements to remind the rebels that victory is not assured. Though the rebel council has announced the end of Muammar Gaddaffi's era, it also continues to warn that areas of Tripoli remain unpacified. Loyalist strongholds remain in the cities of Sirte and Sabah, and some loyalist forces could be on their way to the capital from the city of Zintan. Analysis: Mustafa Abdel Jali, head of the National Libyan Transitional Council (NTC), and the other top-ranking NTC official Mahmoud Jabil have issued several statements since the NTC forces entered the city of Tripoli on the 21st of August. The leaders' statements were meant to temper the behaviour of the rebels, who feel victory is at hand, and allay international concerns that Libya could soon descend into chaos. The NTC also wants to assure residents of the areas that were until recently under Libyan leader Muammar Gaddaffi's control that the NTC forces mean them no harm. Re-establishing security is the NTC's main goal, but obstacles remain. Gaddafi's remaining forces will continue fighting. Abdel Jahali said August 22nd that Gaddafi's era was over and that the rebels control almost all of Tripoli. However, he conceded that Gaddafi's compound at Bab al-Zaila and surrounding areas remain unpacified. The NTC has admitted that the fight is not over. Not only in Tripoli, but in other areas of the country as well. Jabril warned August 2nd that the rebels needed to be aware that some of Gaddafi's forces were approaching from the east. This was likely in reference to the forces that had been holding the line at Zintan for several weeks in the face of a westward advancing Misrata-based rebels. During their simultaneous move towards the capital from Ziwala on August 21st and Misrata, rebels were able to push Gaddafi's men out of the Zintan but did not advance much further west than that. With the capital under siege and Tripoli's eastern districts experiencing a rash of uprisings, the NTC is concerned that the loyalist forces previously in Zintan will return to the capital to fight. Most of Libya is under NTC control, but Gaddafi strongholds remain in Sirte and the Freza district desert city of Sabah. Abel Jaili addressed this issue directly in an August 22nd interview. Sirte is Gaddafi's hometown, and like Sabah, is a bastion of the Gaddafi tribe, which has relied upon the Libyan leader's reign for its privileged position. These likely will be the last group of loyalists to surrender, but Jabil Jahali acknowledged that these areas remain unpacified and voiced an expectation that the inhabitants of both cities would rise up from within as the regime's position continues to weaken. Later in the day, he claimed that Sirte was under siege already, while Al Jazeera reported that the electricity to the city had been cut off and communications disrupted. Multiple senior Gaddafi officials are reportedly taking refuge in Sirte. According to varying reports from rebel fighters in Tripoli and also Italian Foreign Minister Franco Frattini, Gaddafi's forces retain control of 10 to 20% of Tripoli. The exact amount of territory under loyalist control is almost as much of a mystery as what became of the Libyan army's Khamis Brigade, commanded by Gaddafi's son Khamis. The brigade purportedly was the strongest line of defence protecting the capital, yet on the 21st the forces put up almost no resistance as the rebels pushed eastward from Zawali. On August 2nd, at Al Arabiya report claimed that Gaddafi was leading the brigade from the Gaddafi compound at Bab al-Ziyala into the centre of Tripoli, though this was never confirmed, nor was any Al Jazeera report that his corpse had been discovered alongside the body of Libyan intelligence chief Abdullah al-Zanussi in Tripoli. Games' whereabouts, like those of his father and several other brothers, are unclear. It is possible that the most highly trained Libyan soldiers in Tripoli have retreated to entrenched urban positions from which they plan to conduct an urban insurgency. Were this to happen, it would be very difficult for NTC forces to pacify them, as Gaddafi forces have access to large amounts of heavy weaponry and know the city's terrain. But an insurgency in Tripoli would likely not duplicate what happened in Iraq after the US invasion. Tripoli has no deep lines of supply, like those that ran in Iraq via the Iranian-Syrian borders, and there is no foreign occupier to use as a point to rally massive numbers of people. So rather than an Iraqi-style insurgency, perhaps a bigger concern is that the situation in Libya could become similar to those seen after the overthrow of regimes in Somalia in 1991 and Afghanistan in 1992. In those cases the factions that took down the incumbent governments began to fight with one another, and some of the remnants of the former regimes, in a free-for-all battle for control after failing to agree on a power-sharing formula. So what is my view? Well, if this was to take case as Stratfor said, that would be an opening for Al-Qaeda, and we must not let that happen, because the involvement of the Saudis and Qatar is already disturbing for me personally in the rebel victory. But the 24th of August 2011 should be noted as a triumph for rebel NTC arms in Libya, and that is where I think we should focus our attentions and be thankful that the Gaddafi regime seems to be on its way out.